Hi guys, welcome to another episode of A Tincture of Sense. So on today's episode, as always, I'm going to be asking you guys a question. But before I do, I'm going to tell you guys a very brief story. So a man and his son were involved in an accident. The man died and the son was taken to the nearest hospital. So on getting to the hospital, the doctor on call sees the boy and shouts, "This is my son." So my question is, who is the doctor? For those of you that know who the doctor is, just keep it to yourself. For those of you that don't, let's watch this episode so you can find out.
Biases. We all have them in one form or another. Biases are not necessarily stereotypes, but they're quite similar. An example of a bias is when you prefer to work with people from certain tribes or people that look a certain way. While these examples are not necessarily bad or noxious, they might have a pernicious impact in that it excludes certain people from opportunities due to someone's preference, someone's bias, essentially. Now, researchers into social behavior have found that when people have limited mental resources available for making sense of their environment, they rely more on biases and stereotypes to make judgments and guide their behavior. I hope you guys can read between the lines. There are pretty words here: limited mental resources. Back to my question in the intro section. For the people that didn't figure it out, the doctor is the boy's mother. Quite a lot of people struggle with the answer to this question because we unconsciously expect doctors to be men. Only men used to be doctors and only women used to be nurses. So people ask this question are probably saying to themselves, but his father is dead. Anyway, this female doctor scenario exposes an unconscious bias a lot of people hold without even knowing it. There are other scenarios involving negative biases and stereotypes against females that don't require an elaborate scenario to tease out though. Example? A conversation between two people, person A and person B. Person A says, "You know that women that go to bars and hotels alone are prostitutes, right?" Person B says, "Yes, of course. They're obviously looking for men that pay for their time. That's why they're there alone. Or is there any other explanation?" Person B, "None that I can think of. And even women that are with men in these places are prostitutes, because why would any respectable woman be in a bar or an hotel?" Now, during the Middle Ages, thinking like this was probably why it was so easy for people to get away with putting an untold number of women to death for practicing witchcraft. The Middle Ages, the period when a lot of people essentially lost their minds in a collective way, and that's putting it mildly. Back then, women were accused of witchcraft for, well, any and everything, and the only way their innocence could be ascertained was by dunking them in a body of water. The trademarked, patented, and scientifically proven method of confirming a woman was a witch. If the woman drowned, she was innocent, but of what use was her innocence to her, since she would be dead anyway? And if she floats, she was a witch, and witches should be put to death. In essence, she drowns, she dies. She floats, she dies. Thank goodness, condemning women to death is no longer as easy as labeling them as witches. People prefer to label women as prostitutes these days. See a woman in the top position? Well, she slept her way to the top. A woman with a thriving business? Well, she's bankrupted by a sugar daddy. Or to use 21st century language, the small girl has a big god. It doesn't seem to cross people's minds that the small girl can be a big boss. What does this mean? Well, for people that don't know, I'll let you in on a secret. Some women are quite talented. Some are even more talented than men. In what way, some of you might be asking? The answer is in all conceivable ways. Some men can't seem to believe that women can be good at anything other than spending money, raising babies, and looking pretty. While some girls were average students when they were in school, some were extremely brilliant. So, as boys with both average and great scores grow up to become titans of various industries, is it far-fetched that women can become titans and leaders in their chosen fields as well, becoming good businesswomen, great managers, excellent doctors, and outstanding writers? Women are quite capable of achieving greatness in their own right, and it has nothing to do with having a big god. I'm not saying some women don't have big gods. Of course some do. But to hear people talk about successful women, you'll think each and every one of them has a big god. Such a ridiculous and ludicrous point of view. Just as some men decide to go to an hotel to have a drink, or a gym to exercise on their own, some women do the same as well. It has nothing to do with being a prostitute. What with this prostitute insult anyway? Now, prostitutes they rent a part of their body to other people for a fee for a fixed period of time. How is that different from renting your brain to an employer for 8 to 9 hours or more, 5 days a week? A wise man once said, and I'll paraphrase here, everyone is a prostitute, we just sell different parts of our body. Anyone that thinks the quote is wrong should just go and argue with the keyboard. In the 21st century, is it too much to ask that people expand their minds and start seeing women in quantum terms? Even if a woman spreads her legs to say get $1 million, if given the opportunity to spread your brain for the same amount, won't you take it?
Before people come for me, I need to let you guys know I'm not advocating for anybody to live their lives in a way that aligns with the dictionary definition of the word prostitute. All I'm saying is women should not be seen as prostitutes for just trying to live their lives. Now, for anyone that's finding it difficult to stop seeing women as prostitutes or stopping the use of that word prostitute, I have a tincture of sense for you. It's from this nice bottle. Yeah, that one, just like that. So on that note, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Look out for our next video next week.